What's up YouTube, Zero here, and today I have an awesome Wugtrio EX deck in Pokemon TCG Pocket. That's right, you read the thumbnail correctly, you heard me correctly. I am only going with Wugtrio EX and its evolution line in this deck. Before I get into it, I do want to say if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Pokemon TCG Pocket content. I do a bunch of other video games, so feel free to check those out as well. Without further ado, let's talk about this Wugtrio EX deck. So for a while, I've been searching for a water deck that I could enjoy using. I've put a lot of different combinations together. I'm still searching for others that I can put together. I found some suggestions online of just utilizing Wugtrio with a bunch of other support cards. So in light of those suggestions, I tried this out, and it's actually a pretty fun deck to utilize. Now, this isn't a deck that I'm going to take into ranked, but I do enjoy utilizing it in random games. It is heavily dependent on luck. Of course, Wugtrio, and I'll talk about Wugtrio in a second, is reliant upon luck in itself. Even when you utilize it, even when you're able to put Wugtrio in that active slot, it is still very reliant upon luck. But who doesn't like to gamble every once in a while? In terms of Pokemon, we have Pokemon with coin flips, we have Pokemon that randomly damage enemies, so why not utilize Wugtrio EX in that capacity and only utilize Wugtrio EX? So let's talk about the cards, and first let's talk about the Wugtrio EX evolution line. There's only one basic Pokemon, Wiglet, which has Spring Out for 1 water energy. One of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random and you do 30 damage to it. Then it evolves into Wugtrio EX for 3 water energy, pop out throughout. One of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random 3 times. For each time a Pokemon was chosen, you do 50 damage to it. That means Wugtrio EX, every turn it has 3 energy and is able to attack, deals 150 damage. The less Pokemon your opponent has on the playing field, the more likely you are to hit the target you're actually aiming for. So it is a very random card. Like I said earlier, it is heavily dependent on luck, but it is a very fun card. It can actually bring you back from the brink of defeat if you hit the correct cards. There could be a card on your opponent's bench that you want to hit, and maybe Wugtrio will hit it. It could turn the tides of battle extremely easily. I'll be honest, Wiglet has won me a ton of games with its Spring Out. Why? Because my opponent either got frustrated or I was able to defeat their strategy by just taking out one of their cards on the bench. So again, it is very reliant upon luck, but it's a fun deck and can really turn the tide of battle. Depending upon what opponent you hit, what opponent Pokemon are in play, it can really turn the tide of battle. So Wugtrio is a fun card. It's not one that I'm going to rely upon in ranked because it is so random, but it is a very fun deck, and I have won a ton with this in random battles. So now let's talk about all of the support cards that I like in this deck to support Wugtrio EX. First are going to be the obvious ones. Only utilizing Wugtrio EX means its survivability is crucial. Once your opponent takes out your Wugtrio EX, if you don't have a Wiglet or a Wugtrio on the bench, you will lose. So keeping it alive is going to be imperative to your success in battle. That's why I have 2 potions, 2 Aritas, and 2 Pokemon Center ladies. For those of you who don't know what each of these does, Potion heals your Pokemon for 20 HP. Your Arita heal 40 damage from each of your Pokemon that has any water energy attached to it. And then Pokemon Center Lady, heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon, and it recovers from all special conditions. So all 3 of these cards are going to keep your Wugtrio alive. They're going to be crucial in this deck. Heal all of the damage that your opponent is causing to you. And before I move on, I do want to say where all of these cards are coming from. Your Wugtrio EX is going to be from your Shining Revelry pack. Your Irida is going to be from Triumphant Light. Your Pokemon Center Lady is going to be from Shining Revelry. And then your Potion is going to be, you can purchase that from the shop. So if you need those cards, those are the packs they are going to come in. Let's talk about the other support cards. Cyrus and Sabrina. Now, Cyrus isn't there for what you think it's there for. Obviously, with Wugtrio EX, you're not going to hit necessarily the Pokemon in the active slot. It can hit Pokemon on the bench, it can hit the Pokemon in the active slot. It really doesn't matter where the Pokemon are. You can end up hitting it. You don't have the option. It's all random. Cyrus and Sabrina in this deck act the same. And what I mean by that is it's throwing off your opponent's strategy. So what I really want to do with both of these cards is throw off my opponent's strategy. So Sabrina, you switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. Your opponent gets to choose the Pokemon on the bench to put in that active slot. Cyrus, you get to switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has damage on it. The reason why I have these 2 here is, again, to throw off my opponent's strategy. My opponent may have a lot of energy built up on their active Pokemon, and the Pokemon on the bench may have 0. So I might want to draw that out to force my opponent to utilize energy to have their Pokemon in the active slot retreat. Same thing with Cyrus. I want to throw off my opponent's strategy. Cyrus even more so because perhaps I did some damage to the Pokemon in the active slot and they made it retreat. Well, then I'm going to bring it out to the active slot because they utilized their energy to retreat, or maybe they utilized a leaf to have their Pokemon retreat. So I want to have those Pokemon in the active slot. Also remember that if Wugtrio does do damage to the Pokemon in the active slot, that's when weaknesses can take effect. So perhaps you want to get a Pokemon that's weak to water in the active slot. Just because you're going to do extra damage, you can also do that. But Sabrina and Cyrus, at least in this deck, are going to be there to throw off my opponent's strategy in terms of how much energy my opponent may have equipped on certain Pokemon. Make your opponent utilize their energy or cards to force a retreat, because that can throw off their balance. That can throw off what they're trying to do. That's part of how my Wiglet has won a little bit, is because my opponent's equipping energy on a certain Pokemon, I'm forcing another Pokemon to the active slot, so they have to waste their energy and not get set up as they would like. The Rocky Helmet is going to help me do extra damage, which is why I like the Rocky Helmet. I prefer Rocky Helmet in this because I can deal extra damage to any Pokemon attacking. For those of you who don't know, Rocky Helmet, if an active Pokemon attacks your active Pokemon and it does damage to your active Pokemon, you do 20 damage to that attacking Pokemon. And this is going to be found in the Palkia pack. Sabrina is going to be found in the Charizard pack, and Cyrus is going to be found in the Palkia pack as well. So Rocky Helm is a great way to do extra damage to your opponent's attacking Pokemon, just so you can start whittling away at their health. Professor's research is fairly obvious. You get to draw 2 cards, so you can get all of these cards out of your deck quicker. And then last but not least is Team Rocket Grunt. I really like this card here. What this does is you flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, you discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. This is another card that can really throw off your opponent's strategy and really turn the tides of battle. Preventing your opponent from attacking is going to be crucial to enhancing Wugtrio's survivability. So I absolutely love Team Rocket Grunt here. Can really slow down your opponent and turn the tide of the battle in your favor. So I love Team Rocket Grunt here. This is the deck setup that I'm going with. I've had a lot of fun with it. Let me know in the comment section if you have something similar. What cards would you put in? What cards would you take out? I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and until next time, peace.